What is up, and I welcome each and every one of you back to a brand new Civ 6 or Civilization 6 tier list. Today we're going to be ranking every Civ based on a science victory. I did it for domination a couple weeks ago, so let me know down below in the comments if you do want to see the other victory types and which one you want to see first. We obviously have dunce at the bottom, dumb, smart, big brain, genius, and the smartest of them all, Civ Lifer subscriber. So let's start off with Germany right now. Well, despite the fact they don't have any science bonuses, they're still going in the Civ Lifer subscriber tier due to the fact that their Hanzas allow them to build everything in just insane amounts of time. I'm talking 5-turn spaceship parts. They definitely deserve the S tier for science victory. Wilhelmina's next. She's getting big brain right now. I don't exactly... I'll put her in genius, actually. The adjacency she gets from rivers is really nice, especially if you have an industrial zone dam complex combo, giving her a great amount of production, gold, and eventually science when near rivers. Next up, we got Alexander. Alexander's just gonna go in big brain. He does get Eureka's and inspirations, not to mention science from building units, but it really is more meant to augment his domination playstyle than anything else, because in order to get enough of the Eurekas to make a substantial change in the science victory, you're going to have to already wipe out 2 to 3 civs, and at that point, you could win whatever victory type you want when you've done that. Chadwiga is next, not so chatty when it comes to a science victory. The Stepwells are fine, I guess, but his abilities are all focused on domination, and even then, he wants to go down the civic tree for territorial expansions. Nothing really too big of a bonus, I guess. He's just going down dumb. Dunce is for people who have a debuff to science for some reason, just so you guys know. I don't even know if anyone's going to be in that tier in this list. China is next. China is going to get under Alexander in big brain. Actually, they do get the 50% Eureka, so I'm going to put them a little higher. They're really mainly for culture and building wonders, but you get a couple of those wonders like Etemenanki, the Great Library, the Great Shower perhaps, and you could definitely keep up in science, although they are more or less focused towards culture than a science victory. Gorgo is next. Gorgo is again going to go in the dumb tier. I'll probably get canceled on Twitter for that, but she doesn't have any bonuses towards science. Nothing remotely close, honestly. Yeah, that's why she's going with Chadwiga. Rome is next. Now, Rome is different in my opinion. Rome's going to go big brain a little higher. The reason for that is free monuments in every city gives you a lot of culture, allowing you to get the Great Library, natural philosophy for campus adjacency, as well as getting all those tier 3 governments a lot sooner than you normally would. Free monuments in every city is nothing short of disgusting. Check out my Rome video for a bigger deep dive on them. Montezuma is next. Montezuma's probably going to go right on... We'll put him in smart. He gets a lot of builder charges towards districts, which is very helpful, but aside from that, he really doesn't have any other science or production bonuses, which is what we're looking for. So he has a bonus. It's not the biggest, which is why he's going to be in the smart tier. Geovarman is next. Geovarman, I'll put him ahead of Chadwiga. He doesn't have any bonuses. Again, you could make the argument that higher population means more districts, means more science potential, I guess, but it really is just a grasping at straws argument. He is better than Chadwiga because you could sort of make a science playstyle with him, but again, no bonuses towards a science victory. Pakacutie is next, and he's going up in the genius tier right under Wilhelmina. His terrace farms are nothing short of absolutely sensational, giving you food and production. Just like Germany, he is going to have an insane amount of production in the mid to late game, and he spawns near mountains, giving him extra adjacency for his campus districts. Bull Moose Teddy is next, and he is going straight up in the Civ Lifer subscriber tier. Not as good as Germany. It's the fact that all tiles that are breathtaking near mountains and also near rainforests, they get it's near mountains and something else. They get +2 science, which is insane in the early game. You will be making the most science in the game, even on deity, and you can use that to snowball an early advantage, get early campuses, and win a game that way. Hungary's next. Again, dumb. He just doesn't have any bonuses towards science for me to talk about. Amenitor is next. Amenitor is going to, unironically, get get the genius tier under Pachacuti. Just getting the Nubian pyramids and extra production towards districts really does help her out a lot. And unlike Montezuma, that's production towards like just campuses instead of having to sacrifice your actual builder charges. Coupe is next. Coupe does get extra science when he's starting out in the ocean when he founds a city. I guess for that, we'll put him right under Montezuma for smart, but not a lot of science bonuses. Jadwiga is next, and she is a king. Yes, a king. And she's got to go in the dunce category too, honestly. Like, she just doesn't have any bonuses for science to talk about. Nothing that would be remotely helpful, even no production, no science, not even anything like gold that might be helpful. So really, I can't put her anywhere above dumb. Gandhi is next. Now, Gandhi's sort of the same thing, I guess. I'll put him right under Geovarman because he does utilize step wells better than Chandragupta. Again, no bonuses, although getting a lot of early faith might allow him to get I don't even know where I was trying to go with that, bro. He's just in the dumb category as well. Mansa Musitube is next, and this guy is, I mean, he could buy buildings, which is pretty helpful. In fact, that probably puts him in the big brain, I think. The fact that he can buy buildings with gold in the mid to late game allows him to bypass the fact that universities usually take 20 turns when you first unlock them. You just buy a couple of them, boom, you're starting out ahead in science. Next up is Tamar, and again, I gotta put her in the dumb tier. There's nothing that would really help her, I guess, although the city-state bonus would help her get envoys, so I think because of that, we'll put her right above Geovarman in the dumb tier. Gilda Chad is next, and this guy's going right up in the genius tier. Those unique improvements, the ziggurats, are nothing to scoff at. 2 science per ziggurat improvement is pretty damn good, not even mentioning he gets extra alliance points, allowing him to get research alliance a lot higher. What can I say? He's in the difference between genius and big brain. I'll keep him in the genius tier right now because he could snap me in half like a twig, but yeah, he's a very good civ for a science victory. Next up is Scotland, another potential civ lifer subscriber. I'm gonna put him right under Teddy, because in my opinion, it's a lot easier to get the appeal from Teddy than it is to get the ecstatic, which is +5 amenities that you need to get Scotland's triple science production, great scientist, and great engineer bonus. If you do get ecstatic in most of your cities of Scotland, however, he is probably the best science civ in the game, so he is sort of the hardest to make work, but if you make him work, it's the easiest victory of your life. Cleopatra is next. She's gonna go smart, I guess, right below Montezuma. She gets bonuses towards wonders, near rivers, I guess. That's pretty much my entire reasoning. Etamananke early on could be helpful, especially near floodplains. Next up, we got Pericles. Pericles is, he's kind of the same as Gorgo, except for the fact he gets extra culture per suzerain. So I think because of that, we'll put him in the smart tier. Because again, getting a lot of early culture, doing something you are going to end up doing anyway, which is getting city-state envoys. Getting more city-state suzerains will give him more culture to get communism or democracy in the mid to late game. Next up, we got Catherine Dimmadome, owner of the Dimsdale Dimmadome, and she is going to go... She gets a medieval and Renaissance and industrial era wonder bonus, but the only wonder I could think of is Ruhr Valley and Oxford. I guess we'll put her in the dumb tier right ahead of Georgia. She has just technically minor bonuses towards getting those mid to late game really good wonders, but she really isn't a science-focused civ at all. John Curtin is next, and this guy is without a doubt a civ lifer subscriber. I'm actually going to put him ahead of Teddy, because the thing about Australia is you don't need like breathtaking tiles everywhere. You just need them in a couple of locations and you will get monstrous, and I'm talking monstrous science yields. It might be against the Geneva Convention what this guy ends up doing to science. Easily get +6 campuses with this guy in the right situation. Suleiman is next, and while the Ottomans were in the S tier for a domination victory, the only advantage they have is the bazaar, so I'm going to put them in the lower smart tier Getting extra amenities can be helpful, although that might be my bias talking. He is purely a dumb. You know what? I'm actually going to go ahead and put him in the dunce tier because you want to get Ibrahim, and that sort of takes promotions away from Pingala. So technically, a lot of the time, you are going to be lower with Suleiman than you would be with anyone else, but that's counteracted with the fact that the Bazaar unique building is really good with amenities and luxury resources. Next up, we got Japan. Japan is going in the high genius tier above Wilhelmina. The reason for that is he's a jack of all trades, not exactly a master of science, which is why he isn't a Civ Lifer subscriber, but the thing with him is you get enough districts near each other, and you could get an easy +4 or 5 campus after you plop down all your districts, keep all your cities close together, get some really nice industrial zones and campuses, couple spaceports here and there, and it is a very good science game. Korea is next. She's gonna go right under Frederick Barbarossa. The reason for that is despite the fact that she's the only Civ who actually gets bonuses towards science in her unique abilities, Germany is just so much better in the late game when it comes to production. And the thing about Korea is the max she can get is +4 campuses, so it does sort of like require you to plan out your cities a little bit more. You make one mistake and place a CO1 near a district, and you do lose that +4 science. And the reason that's so big is because rationalism increases science yields in cities by 50% with one of two ways. One, if the city's 15 population or more, or two, if the campus adjacency in that city is 4 or more. So that's why she's so strong, not to mention the bonuses she gets towards governors with science and culture. The fact she is a really good science and culture civ helps her in that fact. But Germany's production is so good. You literally finish spaceship parts in 5 turns in the late game. It's neck and neck, though. Honestly, it could be either way. I'll put Frederick first because he does come before Siandiak and Germany comes before Korea, but these guys are pretty much neck and neck. After that, we got the Congo. The Congo, again, no bonuses at all. I'm going to put him in the dunce tier. They just get no bonuses. Like, there's nothing to say about him. Chaka is next, and he does get science from his Akanda district, so I guess that'll put him in the big brain tier. You're going to want Akandas everywhere, and 20 Akandas early game is about 20 science for Chaka, which is pretty decent, especially in the early to mid game. It's nothing too game-breaking, though, which is why he's really on the border between smart and big brain. Peter of Russia is next, and he is going all the way in the... I'll put him right under Gilgamesh in the genius tier. He does get extra science and culture from trade routes, that's true, but that really is all he gets unless you focus your entire game on just using your religion to get science. His science bonuses, in fact, really are not as good as you would think. Next up, we got Genghis Khan. Again, no science bonuses. There's nothing for me to say. Ditto for Cyrus of Persia, although he does get extra culture from trade routes, as well as paradises, which do come early enough in the game to make a difference, so he is going to go in the big brain tier. I think probably, honestly, right ahead of Suleiman. I'd still rather have Alexander's bonuses than the culture he gets, but Cyrus is an underrated science civ. Next up, we got Wilfrid Laurier of Canada. Again, no bonuses, but I am going to put him in the lower smart tier because since the AI is too dumb to get a Casus Belli against you, you can get away with building less units and focusing more on your infrastructure, like campuses, for example, earlier on in the game, without having to worry about getting goatsy by the AI, so I'll keep him in the lower end of the smart tier. Next up, we got Poundmaker of the Cree. Again, no bonuses. He's just going to have to go... I'll put him like right above Suleiman, I guess, because he does have really good Mickey Wops, and his early scouts help with exploration, but those are like very rarely, if ever, going to be good for a science victory. Eleanor France is next, and she's pretty much the same exact thing as Catherine. No bonuses at all, and honestly, her unique ability, replacing Catherine's, doesn't change anything. Eleanor is next. She's going to go in the dunce tier right below Pericles, because of the fact England gets bonuses towards coal, allowing you to get coal power plants for more production in the mid to late game. Pedro is next, and he is getting that genius tier. I'm actually going to put him right above Japan, mainly because the fact that he gets extra adjacency from jungles and mountains, and he has a start bias towards jungles, means his science is going to be out of this world in the right situation. The kind of RNG that you do have to get for Pedro, though, is the only reason he isn't a Civ Lifer subscriber. Next up is Guitarja right now. Now, Guitarja does not have any bonuses for science. She gets a super early Pantheon, I guess, so that's probably enough to put her like right here. But again, another no science bonus Civ. Next up is Latoro. Now, Latoro, if I do remember, he does get bonuses in science and culture in cities he puts a governor in. Quote me. Actually, no, he doesn't. It's just culture. In that case, he doesn't have any bonuses. There's nothing for me to do. The exact same thing for Christina. Man, it is hard to... Okay, Latoro does actually get production bonuses in cities that he has captured. So I am, because of that, going to put him right under Montezuma. Dido is next, and Dido gets settler production, and that's about it. The fact that you're building Kothons will give you a lot more traders, though. So I guess because of that, you could go right under Wilfred in like the same technicality kind of situation. Tamiris is next, and again, the same exact thing. She really does not have any bonuses towards a science victory. I'm not counting like being good at domination towards getting a science win, because at that point, you might as well just continue with domination. Spain is next. Spain actually gets amazing international trade routes, and he does start near geothermal fissures to get him to be in between continents, because geothermal fissures are in between continents in this game. Because of that, and the fact that he can get geothermal fissures and his great trade routes, I'll put him right above Chaka in the big brain tier. Harold Tardrada is next, and honestly, he is going to go right below Alexander in the big brain tier. The reason for that is when you pillage with this guy and you get the pillage policy card, you are going to work. Every pillage with your boats or even melee units is massive amounts of science that you can use to spice up your science game, and it is really underrated. Saladin is next, and this is another genius I'll put right actually above Japan. The fact that you can get your warship building for cheap, and it increases your science by 10%, and you get a unique university. This guy is all about science. Not good enough to put him in the Civ Lifer subscriber tier. I feel like you either need really, really good science, or you need science and production, or really, really good production to be a Civ Lifer subscriber. So he doesn't have production, meaning he is just going to be in the genius tier. Victoria is the exact same thing as Eleanor. It's just the fact that she does end up getting extra coal for, I guess, coal power plants or whatever. The Mayans are next, and the other Civ that has an all-science bonus. But in my opinion, it really isn't that good. Like, the observatory gets adjacencies towards farms and plantations, but the problem is you're going to have no production as the Mayans, because you're going to be starting in flat terrain, you're going to be starting in floodplains with irrigatable tiles instead of near mines and stuff like that. So she is still going to go in the genius tier. She is going to go right under Pedro, but the fact she's probably going to have no production does screw her over a little bit. Gran Colombia, no bonuses whatsoever. Same thing with you. Menelik is going to go actually right below Japan because of the fact he pretty much has a Void Singer's unique ability, and you get extra science and culture from your faith amount, which can be huge. Also, starting near hills helps his production. Catherine de Medici of Magnificence is next. Again, no science bonus or production bonus, so she is going to go right here in the dumb tier. There's 2 Eleanors in this tier list maker, whatever, so that's why I have 2 Eleanors. Rough Rider Teddy is the exact same thing, no bonuses. Same thing with Byzantium. Gaul gets free apprenticeship, I guess, so I guess he's the new leader of the dumb tier. Getting free apprenticeship is nice, but it really is only one technology. Big Daddy Hammurabi is next, and honestly, I think I am going to go ahead and put him in the super high A tier. The reason for that is because that Hammurabi does not get a very good science amount in the mid to late game. He gets a debuff, although by the time you get all the Eurekas you need, you should have Ruhr Valley and Oxford, and you could have enough science to get the late game techs even with the debuff. Vietnam is next, and she does get bonuses with districts on Rainforest for science, so she is going to go right above Mansa Musa in the big brain tier. Kublai Khan gets literally 5 or 6 whatever it's called, Eureka's max. So I'm actually going to put Chinese Kublai Khan in smart, and this other Kublai Khan in dumb. We'll put this guy right above Pericles. And finally, Zhao is going to go in the genius tier right below Japan, solely because of the fact his trade routes are monstrous, especially on the open sea. And if you get to that situation, you'll be getting all the production and science you need. This is my science tier list, so if you do enjoy, like and subscribe, I guess, and let me know down below what you would change and some stuff I missed. And without further ado, I'll see you all in the next video. Peace.